Tanning. I'm Maggie Thomas, here about a possible new law in Mississippi.
Public transportation. I'm Maddie Pouliot. See how Oktibbeha County is making sure everyone has a way around town.
Disaster struck this past weekend when a tornado came through Columbus, Mississippi, destroying many things in its path. Good evening, I'm Megan Terry.
And I'm Maggie Thomas. Take 30's Rashad Crosby went to Columbus to see the damage firsthand. Rashad, it's been days since the tornado touched down. How's Columbus looking now?
Thanks, Maggie. This past weekend, Columbus, Mississippi was hit with an EF3 tornado with winds over 130 miles per hour. Around 24 citizens were reported injured, one was reported dead, and over 300 businesses have been damaged and 500 homes were destroyed. But despite all the destruction, multiple citizens in the affected area, the resilience of the community was uplifting. While driving in Columbus, I stopped by a local church who shed a little light in the community.
At 5 p.m., parts of Columbus, Mississippi was hit by an EF3 tornado. As people's lives are forever changed and things seem dim, Columbus will rise again. Speaking of rising, First Pentecostal Church held service Sunday and baptized 9 people, even though their own church was destroyed. Here's what Reverend Steve Blaylock had to say.
This is our holy ground. I was shocked half of it was blown away. Church is all about ministering to needs. It's about community. It's about connecting with one another.
As you can see, there's debris all around me and what's left of First Pentecostal Church. And even though the churchgoers here are devastated, I asked them how did they feel to go attend service Sunday and watch members and non-members be baptized.
Well, it was a scheduled event, so we kept on going as if, nothing had happened. Although we know that it was the glory of God that it did happen, we know that this was God's work. It was He's evidently in the demo part of flipping this church.
Also, Lowe's is here, helping out First Pentecostal, and I asked the manager what are they doing to help out the community as well.
So we're all throughout Columbus, just trying to help out everywhere we possibly can. We actually have about 3 teams throughout the city of Columbus right now in the affected areas. Just again, providing any help that we possibly can.
Even though the church has fallen and the road has closed, First Pentecostal will rebuild and be stronger. I'm Rashad. Take 30 News.
I misspoke earlier. I meant to say 30 businesses have been damaged. But before I left, Reverend Blaylock, he told me his future plans for the church. He said they're in the beginning stages of building a gym, and once the gym is built, they will use it for services until the new church is made. Maggie?
Thank you, Rashad. If you want to volunteer to assist storm victims, you are asked to register at the Disaster Assistance Center at the Trotter Convention Center lower level. You may register Thursday or Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. or Saturday from 9 to 3. The center will also be open all next week for registration.
Now let's take a first look at the regional weather. Meridian, 57 degrees. Starkville, 49 degrees. Jackson, Mississippi is going to be 47 degrees, but looking eastward, Birmingham, 55 degrees, and Montgomery, Alabama, 64 degrees. Coming up next, we have a new law that could be putting a halt on your summer tanning. Stay with us. This is Take 30 News.
When you're the best, everyone wants to see what you'll do next. At Mississippi State University, our team of world-class rocket engineers is venturing beyond boundaries, building rockets like none before. We're launching a new era of space exploration. We've developed cutting-edge technology that's helping us build a rocket that can travel at 4 times the speed of sound. Fast? Yes. But more importantly, revolutionary. For you and for a space program that produces many of the conveniences we enjoy today. We're shaping your life in ways you never dreamed. What's next? Watch us and see. Have you ever thought about what it would take to eliminate one of the most dreaded illnesses of the year? At Mississippi State University, we're dreaming big, fast on the heels of scientific discoveries that will lead to the prevention, diagnosis, and treatment of flu and other illnesses. For researchers, the biggest challenge is keeping pace with viruses that are constantly evolving to become more contagious. But at Mississippi State, we have the upper hand. Our scientists are working with teams around the world to predict when and where new viruses will emerge, combining forces to create flu vaccines before epidemics actually hit. That's because, as a premier research university, we believe it is our responsibility to help improve the lives of those around us. And we're working hard to help create a world where the flu is something children will one day read about in history books.
Tanning beds. They're commonly used to get a sun-kissed look, but this may no longer be possible for some Mississippians.
Cameron Talley began going to the tanning bed at the age of 14 when she became a cheerleader at her high school.
People would comment on it and be like, oh, you have such pretty tan legs, or blah, 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 like your skin's so pretty. And so that's why I just continued to go, because it was a confidence booster.
She says she also got a job at a tanning salon during high school and, with her parents' permission, began to tan almost every other day until her freshman year of college, when her mom saw a spot on her back.
She was like, I'm going to make you an appointment with the dermatologist. And I was like, okay, whatever. So I was just thinking, like, oh, it's just like a mole, like he'll probably just like remove it or whatever. Well, I got there, and the spots on my back that like mom like thought looked bad, he was like, yeah, those look bad, but these spots are here, and started just like pointing all over my back. He was like, these look worse. So literally like cut, like, I think the first time I went, like cut like 8 different spots, like of just like skin grafts off of my back. And I was like, wow.
One of the samples came back positive for precancer. Senator Bryce Wiggins says cases like this are what inspired the creation of Senate Bill 2847, which would ban Mississippians 18 years and younger from using tanning beds. He says if this bill becomes a law, it would help improve the quality of life for Mississippians in more than one way.
The reality is, as a state, we're one of the unhealthiest states. And if you're talking about jobs, when companies come to recruit, and look, they want to know that they have a workforce that will work, that they don't have to spend a lot of, honestly, money on. And we want companies to come here to provide jobs, to hire people, but also just as a human being, we want our citizens to be healthy.
The bill to make it illegal for minors to use tanning beds like this one passed in the Senate and has now been referred to the House of Representatives Public Health Committee.
I reached out to 2 tanning salons in Starkville about the bill. One chose not to comment, and the other did not return my calls. Reporting for Take 30 News, I'm Maggie Thomas.
According to the National Conference of State Legislators website, as of 2018, 17 other states and Washington, D.C. have made it illegal for minors to use indoor tanning beds. Well, you and your family now have more options when traveling. The executive director of the Golden Triangle Regional Airport, Mike Hainsley, says that due to a record number of passengers in 2018, Delta will be adding a 4th daily flight. The flight will be a round trip to Atlanta and will start in June. Similar to other flights, the new flight seats 50 passengers. The executive director said that the additional flights will help the community to grow.
It allows people more options when they travel. It'll lower airfares also, because there are more seats available, therefore it'll be a little bit cheaper. But it also gives them the opportunity where they don't have to drive to Birmingham, Memphis, or Jackson. They can fly out of here and connect literally anywhere in the world.
For flight schedules, visit our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/Take30NewsMSU. Now imagine losing the ability to go to church, school, or even the grocery store in order to feed your family.
Well, that's what happened to a group of local people when the transportation system that provided transportation to this disabled shut down. Take 30's Maddie Pouliot joins us live in the studio to tell us more. Maddie?
That's right, Maggie. Some of Oktibbeha County's disabled communities say they went without transportation for nearly 5 months when the Golden Triangle Planning and Development District closed due to lack of funding back in October. But now there's another group helping that group get back on the road.
The Starkville MSU Area Rapid Transit, otherwise known as SMART, recently developed a proposal for the expansion of the Oktibbeha County paratransit system. This proposal was for $50,000, which was voted on and approved by the County Board of Supervisors last Monday. The paratransit systems are the special vans and other resources that SMART uses to accommodate for wheelchair and other disabled community members.
It's a fundamental quality of life issue because we pick up, last year alone we had over 1,400 wheelchair lifts, and these are people that do not have any other access to any other form of transportation. So before paratransit, these were homebound individuals.
Last October, the county lost its paratransit provider, causing a complete void in handicapped transportation. SMART worked closely with the county to develop a new expanded program to make sure that everybody had transportation services.
While we take great pride in the fact that we're servicing community and we take great pride in servicing our campus, there's a whole nother level of pride there when you know that you are the fundamental reason that that individual is able to have independence and go wherever it is that they want to, just from a quality of life perspective. And so we see a tremendous increase in that impacting quality of life, and that means a lot to us.
These services will be the same that the old program used to provide, but will now reach a greater part of the community, expanding out 1.5 miles from their original zone and reaching the entire county. Paratransit services are provided to those citizens who meet the disability requirements after they are approved through the program with a proper evaluation and medical note.
Thank you, Maddie. For more information on these paratransit services, head over to our Facebook for the link. Coming up next, we have your weekly forecast. You're watching Take 30 News.
We all depend on accurate weather forecasts to plan our day. That's why Mississippi State University is teaching students to forecast the future using real-world news sets as classrooms, putting scientific discoveries in meteorology to the test, while honing on-air reporting skills real-time with local TV stations. And we do it so well that at any given moment across the country, 1 in 3 weather forecasts are being delivered by MSU-trained meteorologists who are helping people make crucial decisions that impact their safety, working to ensure business continuity, and in many cases, saving lives. Predicting the future? That's what we're preparing for every single day so that you can prepare for your day.
Let's take a look at the weekly forecast brought to you by the MSU Campus Connect and the Meteorology Department. Tomorrow, a high of 65 degrees with a 30% chance of rain. This weekend, Saturday should bring in some more sunshine with a high of 65 degrees, but we'll see some cloud coverage leading us into Sunday where there will be a high of 52 degrees and a 60% chance of rain. Next week, early on Monday and Tuesday, it'll be much cooler. We'll see the highs of 44 degrees in both days and a low of 27 degrees Monday night. Mississippi State's Department of Student Financial Aid put on an event called FAFSA Days to tell students about financial aid options and to provide help filling out applications. FAFSA is required for students applying for federal aid, such as grants, work study, and loans. Financial aid staff was on hand to answer any questions about FAFSA or to handle any issues that students might have. Event coordinator and financial aid counselor Sarah Grace Brune said that the event is not just for upcoming freshmen or sophomores, but rather for all students.
There's always a lot of questions, a lot of confusion, so we wanted to make ourselves as available as possible to be able to answer any questions that any students may have, or anything like that, or even if they have requirements and they don't know what they need to turn in, that kind of thing.
First 2 days of the event were February 26th and 27th, but students have another opportunity to go on March 4th and 5th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Last week, the stock market recorded its 9th straight winning week. The 9-week streak is the longest winning streak for the Dow Jones Industrial Average since May of 1995. According to the Dow Jones Data Group, the S&P 500 posted its 4th consecutive winning week, and the NASDAQ posted its 9th consecutive winning week as well. Optimism in its trade is the main driver for the gains over the past 2 months, according to the Market Watch. Market Watch also reports that the possibility of avoiding trade tariffs on Chinese imports is a major factor in the stock market's upward trend. Well, a new bill could mean a change for liability of property owners. The Mississippi House is divided about a bill that could lessen the liability of property owners that get sued if someone is harmed on their property. The bill, which is called the Landowners Protection Act, was voted on Monday, while the House voted 74 to 39 in favor of passing the bill. It was held for another round of debate at a later time. An earlier version of the bill was passed by senators in early February, but the two chambers must still settle on a final version of the bill before it can go to the governor.
Mississippi State is encouraging students to think about the amount of food they waste through the Weigh the Waste campaign. Throughout February, the Department of Sustainability has had volunteers scrape edible and non-edible food, drinks, and trash for the campaign. Christine Lashley, Sustainability Coordinator, hopes this will help bring awareness to the amount of food wasted every day on campus and also get students to voice their concerns to the staff.
I've had some students give me feedback that they don't feel like they can have that conversation with the staff. And then I've also had staff that say, we don't feel like the students want to speak to us. And then I've also had other students say, well, I don't feel like I have time to have a conversation because there's people in line behind me and I need to hurry up and just get out of the way. So I think there's lots of things that we can change to improve the process of getting the food to the students.
This is the 3rd year that the Department of Sustainability has held Weigh the Waste, and Lashley hopes to have more opportunities to have it in the future. For many students, it was a fun and easy way to get around campus, but now the Lime bikes will soon be gone. Lime, a bicycle and scooter sharing company, will pull all of its transportation out of Starkville and Mississippi State by March 15th. The transportation company partnered with Mississippi State and Starkville last January. Lime's fleet of transportation included about 175 electric-assisted bicycles and 25 electric scooters. According to Lime, the company is changing their business model to provide scooters only, and given that MSU was adamant about not allowing scooters on campus, they were withdrawing from the market. MSU student Matthew Price says he and others will miss the service.
I can remember the first time I used a Lime bike. I was leaving the Y Center late at night and there was no buses on route anymore, so I had to get a Lime bike. If there was no Lime bike, I would have had to walk all the way back, and that would have really sucked. I really think Lime bikes are important, and it would be inconvenience if we didn't have Lime bikes.
After this break, we have the rundown on MSU sports. You're watching Take 30 News.
To have a big impact in the world, you have to start small. At Mississippi State University, we're starting in the Gulf of Mexico, where a small but crucial barrier island is quickly fading from view. Millions of state dollars are spent dredging sand to replace the vanishing shores of Deer Island, but we think we can do better. We're applying cutting-edge sediment tracers to map the flow of currents and predict the course of sand that's carried out to sea, a process that will help us better understand the drastic transformation taking place. While this is a more cost-effective way to prevent the loss of an island, it's about so much more than saving dollars. It's about taking the first step in a long process to preserve our environment and secure a better, brighter tomorrow. We might be starting small, but rest assured, at Mississippi State University, we're dreaming big. It's hard to fathom. By the year 2050, Earth will be home to 3 billion more people than today. And with rising populations and dwindling resources, one of the most pressing questions is a stark one. How will we feed everyone? At Mississippi State University, we're preparing a meal table where there's a seat for all of us. As one of the nation's leading research universities, our scientists are deploying technology to enhance crop production, developing vaccines to protect aquaculture, working to boost water resources here at home and in communities around the globe. And by partnering with the League of International Universities and the United Nations, we're guaranteeing that global food security is a priority for years to come. As our world grows, so do the challenges. But when it comes to how we will feed everyone, rest assured, Mississippi State has all options on the table.
Thank you for joining us. The Lady Bulldogs basketball team returns home tonight for their final home game of the 2018-2019 season. The Bulldogs are ranked number 5 in the country, and they have the best record in the SEC at 25-2. 13-1 in the SEC play as well. The Bulldogs also sport the best home record in the SEC at 13-1. The Bulldogs aim to have more momentum heading into their final game of the regular season when they travel to Columbia to play the University of South Carolina, who are also ranked in the top 25 at 14th. Now, the Mississippi State basketball team, men's basketball team, secured their 9th SEC win Tuesday night against Missouri. The Bulldogs won 68-49. This win was what the Bulldogs needed in order to hopefully secure their spot in the upcoming NCAA tournament. Tuesday night's win was the first time that the Bulldogs have claimed 5 consecutive SEC wins since 2008. Their next game is Saturday away at Auburn beginning at 3 p.m.
This week has been a busy and successful one for the MSU baseball team. Last Friday, the team won 2 out of 3 games versus the University of Southern Mississippi. Tuesday, they beat Jackson State, and just yesterday, the Diamond Dogs beat Southern Louisiana 12-0. Don't go anywhere. We'll have more Take 30 news after the break.
Our world is changing. The way we work, the way we connect, the way we see things around us. At Mississippi State University, we're agents of change, creating our own bright futures, solving real problems, turning challenges into possibilities, and lighting the way to a whole new world of emerging markets. Through MSU's new state-of-the-art Center for Entrepreneurship and Outreach, we're collaborating across campus, sharing perspectives and resources of multiple disciplines to power dreams. But we're so much more than dreamers. We've launched hundreds of student-led businesses, earning millions in revenue, and impacting our state's economy in new and creative ways. We're the next generation of business leaders, and we're ready for a changing world. How do we know we're ready? Because we're the ones changing it. Discovery. It tells our history and determines our future. At Mississippi State University, we're digging deep, unlocking an understanding of our past, validating it. Middle East exploration by faculty and students is uncovering evidence that unravels ancient mysteries. Scholars have long thought of the biblical kings David and Solomon as mythological figures. Our research offers evidence that supports their existence, boosting MSU into an international league of experts on archaeology. Now we're changing the way people think about the past, opening up new possibilities of understanding for future generations. Digging deeper, learning more.
Welcome back. Well, what's in your shopping cart could impact what's in your wallet, or how much money is in your wallet. 2 experts in consumer research at Mississippi State College of Business shed some light on that old debate. Store brand versus name brand. Take 30's Allison Humphrey has that story.
This jar of Peter Pan peanut butter is $1.82 and is 16.3 ounces. This jar of Great Value peanut butter is $1.18 and is 18 ounces. What's the difference in these two products at Walmart? Dr. Mike Brazil gives us a shocking explanation.
There was a really interesting thing that happened when I was a doctoral student. There was a recall of some Peter Pan peanut butter, which is one of the more expensive peanut butters, and they even gave a lot number that had a problem with it. And the same day they had a recall of Great Value brand peanut butter, and it was the same lot number. So that confirmed for anybody that was wondering, it not only is made by the same people, it's made in the same vat.
So does this mean that other private label brands are the same as big brands?
The economy is there. Typically, a lot of the private label brands are made by the same manufacturers who make the big brands that you pay a lot more for. It's just that they don't have to promote them, don't have to advertise them, so they're a lot cheaper for you as a consumer to purchase. Typically, you get just as much of them, and the quality is the same. So you really are getting the same thing, so there's definitely value there for those brands.
Private label brands are becoming just as popular as big brands.
What we're seeing more now than ever before really is some of these private label brands really kind of taking on the cachet of a bigger brand.
Dr. Stephen France believes that private label brands have become more than just a low-cost product.
But what I think we've found over the last 10 to 15 years is that private labels have really come into their own. They're not just a value segment.
For Take 30 News, I am Allison Humphrey.
Well, do you prefer store brand or big name brand products? Let us know by voting on our Twitter poll at Take30News at MSU. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight on Take 30 News. I'm Megan Terry.
And I'm Maggie Thomas. Join us live next week at 4.